Chapter 5. Everyday Life Zone. The kitchen faucet had finally been fixed, but the noise remained. It had simply migrated to an old copper kettle, which now boiled noisily, violently, every 2 hours. Arthur's secretary called 3 times on the secure line. The 40-page financial report for holding Octant 9 lay on the oak desk, but Arthur hadn't read a line of it in the last hour. He sat at the large kitchen table, his chin resting on his clasped fingers, watching Nora slice bread. She was wearing his old flannel shirt. The sleeves were rolled up, revealing thin, strong wrists. "You're not looking at the documents," she said, without turning around. "You have a deal to close on the port terminals tomorrow." "The terminals can wait," Arthur replied. "Tell me about the fog." "You've heard that before. 300 microroentgens. I'm not talking about particle circulation, Nora. I mean, why you left then. Without your things." The knife froze in her hand. The copper kettle on the stove whispered louder, releasing a trickle of white steam. In the darkness outside, a relentless autumn rain lashed down. "Your world is too marbled, Arthur," she said quietly. "Nothing grows on it, only mold or status. I didn't want to be framed like your grandmother's portrait." And now Nora turned. In the dim kitchen, her eyes seemed completely dark. "And now we have a contract. Clause 8. No metaphysical conversations after 10 o'clock. Arthur rose slowly from the table. The wall clock in the hall struck 11. He approached her, slowly, without his usual aristocratic bearing, simply like a man who had been out in the cold for too long. The tight space between the kitchen island and the stove became heavy with breathing. "The clock is 15 minutes fast," Arthur whispered. Nora didn't back down. When his hand settled on her waist, Arthur's cool fingers felt her pulse racing beneath the plaid of her shirt. This didn't feel like a calculated agreement. It smelled of hot tea, damp pine, and the pure, undeniable passion they'd tried to ignore for 6 years. "We're breaking the terms," she whispered. But her hand naturally found its way to his chest, feeling his heart pounding. "Let the council find me," he replied, leaning toward her lips. A dry, soft slap came from the dark hallway. They turned abruptly. Mark stood in the doorway. In one hand, he held an old wrench. In the other, a teddy bear with a missing ear. The boy looked at his parents' clasped hands, then at the boiling kettle. "Mom," the child said calmly, "if you stop pretending, you don't belong. Will the kettle stop hissing so loudly?"